Okay, so this is a new thing. We're doing a 5-point preview for the game on Saturday against Palace. We're going to discuss 5 different points ahead of the game. It's sort of self-explanatory. First point, Shinji Kagawa, hashtag free Shinji. Terry, what's going on?
I've no idea, really. I don't know, not at all. I can't understand why he hasn't played. There was talk about him not being fit, but he looked pretty fit to me for 165 minutes in these 2 games for Japan. Scored a great goal. And he put in, cut inside, outside the box, bottom corner against a decent team. No, he did very well. So I just hope that this weekend Moyes uses his head and he decides to free Shinji.
Nice. JB, lots of talk in the press about Shinji, about things he's been saying. Any truth in anything?
Yeah, allegedly he's throwing his toys out the Japanese pram, hasn't he? Saying like, I don't know, I'm not playing. You have to ask the boss. But apparently there was a guy who's J Sports TV pundit. He's a fluent Japanese speaker. He's an English guy. He went to Oxford Uni, but he said on Twitter, Ben Mabley, he said that it's a lot more soft as the actual translation. That it's something along the lines of you had better ask the manager rather than kind of like a quite rude. Please ask David Moyes, for crying out loud. It's not quite as bad as it seems. So yeah, I don't think there's much in it.
Thank you. If anybody wants Ben Mabley's life story, send us a message and we'll get JB to send you a copy. Why is Moyes not playing Shinji, do we think?
I don't know. I just think that I don't think he's had a player like him before. I think a little bit like Sir Alex Ferguson. There's a lot of times where I didn't understand why he was left out of the starting lineup on the bench as an unused substitute quite a bit. For me, he's exactly what we need. He's behind the striker. He's creative. He's quick. He's nimble. He's good on the turn. He scores goals. He sets them up. For me, there isn't a reason why he's not playing, other than the fact that Moyes doesn't quite know how to fit him into the system yet.
No, doesn't. Maybe there's not room for him, and maybe that's because we've bought another player. Our record transfer signing of the summer. I don't mean he's a record signing, but for the summer he was. Fellaini. What's going to happen? Will he play? Would you play him?
Yeah.
JB.
JB, sorry. I think he's going to play. I think David Moyes has to put his cards on the table and show off his prized asset. Whether or not he can call Fellaini that, I don't know. It's a bit of a shambles, wasn't it? Deadline day, but it would be nice just to kind of like have a signing. It is numbers, it is steel, it is size and strength that we don't have. So I think it would be, maybe with no disrespect to Jimmy Daly, who's on with us, the perfect game to bet him into that midfield.
Okay. Terry, where's Fellaini going to play in that midfield? Attacking, defensive?
Well, I think he'll play a little bit deeper like he does for Belgium, and I think he's a great acquisition for us in terms of the strength and the sort of skill that we need. But a lot of people think that, they've seen him play really for Everton, and it is quite a long ball, knock it up, he knocks it down. But he plays for Belgium, and if you've seen Belgium play football, they don't play long ball. And he starts for them week in, week out, and he knows how to play football. So I'm really looking forward to Saturday's game at home. So hopefully he's on the pitch.
Yep, I've always rated the players that know how to play. We've just spoken about Kagawa. Can Kagawa and Fellaini both have space on the pitch at the same time?
I think they can do in a 3-man midfield, but it remains to be seen whether or not Moyes will go for that. At Everton, he always wants kind of like 2 holding players and 1 in front in the style of a Cahill. Then your big strong target man, whether it's Jelavic or Anichebe or whoever, and then your 2 relatively nippy wingers, but who also have the ability to track back like a Seamus Coleman or a Pina. So I don't know. I think we do need a plan B in various ways to play. I think if Fellaini starts, Kagawa certainly won't, but I think Kagawa should figure.
Okay, boys, what would be your starting midfields?
Carrick's got to start. He hasn't played 2 games for England in the week, so Carrick's a nailed-on certainty for me. I'd have Carrick and Fellaini next to each other, just in case nobody heard. So I'd have them 2 next to each other, and I would have Kagawa playing just in front of them with Welbeck out to the left as part of the sort of midfield attack, and Valencia on the right-hand side.
Okay, JB, would you do the same, or would you do something a bit different?
I'd go because I'm building the team around Robin van Persie as you should really. Because of his form midweek, he scored an absolute pearler against Andorra. He's definitely up for it. He's definitely in the goals. This is my pick. I would pick Kagawa. I put him in there, and behind him put Carrick, and then even more withdrawing put Fellaini, because I'd like to see Carrick a bit more advanced, doing the old 3 balls and the over the top balls for Van Persie that we know he can deliver.
Okay, thanks, JB. You could have just said the same. Now let's bring the Oppo in. Jimmy, welcome to the Premier League. You must be very excited. Are you worried about coming to Old Trafford? Do you see this as 3 points lost, but an exciting day out?
Not particularly worried because we're not really expecting anything. I mean, you go to the Premier League champions, you're not going to get much as the promoted team. I mean, fun day out, kind of, sounds a bit patronising, but it's probably true actually. So, I mean, last time we went there was fairly decent, seeing as we did actually win, and Dan Ambrose did score from about 100.
Absolute worldie as well,
screamer, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that was pretty fun. I mean, I never thought I'd go to Old Trafford and see Palace win, and I'm not even 30 yet. So that's fairly decent. But I expect that United will be looking to bounce back after losing to Liverpool. So I expect they'll probably give us a. I nearly said lesson. I don't mean lesson, but a good game.
No. Which Eagles should we be worrying
about?
Well,
I mean, when we beat Sunderland the other day, it was the midfield that we really sort of took the game by, and that's the likes of Mile Jednak and Kagisho Dikajoy, which I think I said right, but we all call him KG because we can't pronounce his name. But you guys talking about Fellaini there, I mean, he's going to be real competition for those guys in midfield. So I think actually Fellaini against Jednak is going to be a really, really good battle. And to be honest, will be where I think they're going to be won and lost.
Okay. JB, Terry, are there any Palace players that we're worried about? Or should be worried about?
Shamak.
Short and sweet. Thanks very much.
The deadly Shamak.
I'd go for Jedinak. I think he's got quite a good eye for goal, and could take a few pot shots that might have settled De Gea.
Okay, very nice. Right, now, moving on to point 4 of this 5-point preview. Wilfried Zaha, former Palace player, now at United, but hasn't really featured as much as maybe some of us thought he would or have liked to see him play. Guys, what's the feeling with Zaha? And Jimmy, what's the feeling with Zaha? Because obviously he helped you so much last year, now that he's joined United.
Well, we love Wilf. He's one of ours. I remember him coming into the team as a sort of tiny, weedy kid, 16 or 17, and he's left us as this kind of beefy, talented player. Like we want him to do well. I mean, we would, to be honest, a player leaving Palace and joining United is massive for us. Really, we didn't think we'd be playing against him this season. We want him to go on and play well for you guys and play for England and be the best he can, because he's one of the most talented players that we've seen come through our academy. Of course, it's probably now scripted that he will play for United on Saturday and score against us, because that kind of thing always happens to Palace. But we just want him to do well. That's what we want.
Yeah, he played well for England under-21s the other night. JB, Terry, do we want to see him playing more? Because we haven't really seen a lot of him.
Yeah, I do. I watched the game on BT Sport, and I'm allowed to say that on here.
Yeah, the other sports channels are available.
Yeah, but
not for that game, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. But no, so I watched the game, and he looked good. He was beating players with ease, and I've always been impressed with him. I'm a big fan of the Championship, and I watched him a lot last year. And once we signed him, I went down to a few games at Palace just to watch him, because it's I've got a friend who has
like an unofficial scout.
Yeah, a little bit like a bit of an in the know scout sort of thing, and he's going to be the real deal for me, that lad. So I just want to start seeing him play, sort of cut his teeth as it were, and I think he's going to be a top player.
Okay, JB, do you think this Crystal Palace game has come too early for him? Because he's not really featured so far this season. Do you think if we were playing him in 3 months' time, maybe he'd be starting or getting off the bench?
Well, I think that's the nail on the head, mate. Yeah, exactly that. I think he played really well midweek, and he set up the goal in the 1-1 draw. That's some absolutely fantastic skill, which I think Terry was actually tweeting. Legally or not so legally, I don't know.
Legally.
Yeah, of course. But no, I mean, the thing about Zaha is he's a bit like a Nani. He's that great vertical, he's penetrative, he can beat a man, and he's got more than one trick, which can't be said about Valencia.
Okay, right, let's round this up. 5th point. I know, it's exciting, right? Predictions. We'll start with you, Jimmy, as you are our guest. What do you think the score is going to be? Can you guys maybe hold out for a draw?
I'd love a draw. That'd be amazing. I mean, that'd be a great result. Confidence.
I'm not offering you a draw. I just wondered if you thought maybe you could get
That's very kind. I think a United win, probably not massive. I don't think it'd be a tonking, but 3-1, something like
that. Okay, thanks. Terry.
Yeah, I think the other way. I think that we're going to be a little bit looking for a response after losing to Liverpool. So I'm going to go for a big fat 5-0.
Oof!
Wow, and you even made a little card. That is
just to cement my point. To cement my point, 5-0.
Nice. JB, you obviously fancy yourself as a bit of a Jamie Redknapp lookalike. Let's see if your punditry's up to it. Put your money where your mouth is.
I'll take that, mate, all day. Let's see. I'm going to go for 2-0. And it's going to be Fellaini who's going to score in his debut.
Okay. Right, the other scorer?
Punt Persie. Why not?
I'll put a pound on it. Right, thanks so much. I think following the lack of creativity, I would have usually predicted something higher, but I think 2-0 is probably about right. Guys, thanks very much for joining me. That is the end of this 5-point preview. Subscribe to Full Time Devils so you can get all of these early. We're playing Palace on Saturday. It's 12:45 at Old Trafford. We've just told you exactly what's going to happen, who you've got to watch out for. So now all you've got to do is just watch it. You'll have a great time.